Good morning, security gang, and welcome back to the CyberHub Podcast. My name is James Azar. I'm the host, Chief Information Security Officer. Thank you all for tuning in to the show before last for the year 2025. It feels weird that in just a few days, I'll be saying 2026. It just feels like I just started the year. I've said it all year that this year has flown by. I think this has been the fastest year of my life. Just going to put that out there. All right. Packed show today. Let me tell you what's in store for all of y'all. Now, the hackers claim 40 million Conde Nast records were stolen after the Wired leak yesterday. 7 million was siphoned from trust wallets. U.S. banks are feeling the vendor side pain through the marquee ransomware. Korean Air confirming exposure tied to the Oracle EBS wave. A supply chain hit on EmEditor. A Mustang Panic kernel mode rootkit. Abuse of Copilot Studio connected agents. Plus 2 notable arrests. And what else? French with a privacy fine, because all of that makes sense for every single person here. If you're watching us live on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, X, Twitch, anywhere else, what you're seeing in front of you right now on the screen is cyberhubpodcast.com, our latest article after the CISO chair, how security leaders can shape their next executive act. A lot of research went into this. I'll say I put a lot of time into this article. So go check it out at cyberhubpodcast.com. Now join me as we power through. Coffee cup cheers, y'all. I have to do sips this morning. 2 sips. Yeah, espresso's just so good. This is Lavazza, by the way. The Nespresso pods, the original Nespresso pods, not the new kind there. All right. So yesterday on the show, we talked about the 2.3 million victims for the Wired data breach. Now, another attacker who goes by the moniker Lovely is claiming that they had 40 million Conde Nast records, which really owns Wired. Shortly after Wired user data surfaced, a separate actor is now claiming 40 million Conde Nast records have been breached. And again, look, is this the end of the world? No. But here's where this bothers me. And again, when I was in banking and I would see breaches like this one, my immediate approach would be to go to our threat intelligence team, get this information, cross it with our customers. And if we crossed it and we had a few customers in that list, then what we would do is we would force reset those customers' passwords. We would reach out and ask them to reset their passwords. It's just good hygiene. Now, we did that in banking. I'd recommend that you do that in e-commerce. I'd recommend you do it anywhere where someone could potentially harm your customer and potentially defraud your company from money. So this goes to direct business impact. This is where we as CISOs can really celebrate our security program. When we take something like this breach, we cross it and then we de-risk the entire situation, we actually improve the financial health of our organization, and we show that the investment in security goes a long way. That's how you use this type of information. Credential stuffing attacks, ad platform hijacks are all there. Force reset. Again, you want to block reused passwords. You can't really control that. MFA required, and it's hard to do phishing resistant FIDO2 MFA on the consumer side. It's easier on the corporate side because you kind of build it into your Intune policy. It's harder to do it on the customer side because the technical capabilities and efficiency of your customers is not there. So just keep that in mind as you look at this story here as well. Again, the exposed wire data has been already added to Have I Been Pawned, so go check it out there. Okay, we'll move to this one. Trust Wallet saying attackers drained $7 million from 2,500 and Niner 6 wallets. Wow, that's crazy. Trust Wallet is saying the targeted theft hit a discrete set of users, often through either private key or seed phrase compromises or even malicious signing prompts. The on-chain thief moved fast. Some funds were reportedly frozen through partners. However, those not all of that was. The crypto wallet used by over 200 million people, according to its official websites. does allow users to store, send, receive, and manage Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and thousands of other crypto. Trust Wallet launched in 2017, was acquired by Binance um, the following year. So this happened on December 24th on Christmas Eve. Again, one of those there. 7 million being stolen from the compromised wallets after version 2.68.0 of its Chrome extension was compromised. So the malicious extension was not released through their internal manual process. Their current findings suggest it was most likely published externally through a Chrome Web Store API key, bypassing their standard release checks, according to CEO Yuan Chen. So Trust Wallet now says they're going about this, but thousands of crypto wallets drained, 2,596 affected wallet addresses. So that's significant. That's likely going to be attributed to the North Koreans. It's actually right up their playbook. It's what they love doing there. We'll stay with financial crime. So Marquee's fallout, the ransomware fallout continue. Marquee does a lot of service for U.S. banks. They're a popular financial software company. Artisans Bank and Veribank are informing regulators in Maine that they were all victims of the recent ransomware attack there. The data included names, contact details, account loan contacts, and even templated documents. You're looking at a lot of social engineering risk here for the banks. Veribank explaining in its letter to victims that Marquee Software is their customer communication and data analytics vendor. They had access to your data to communicate relevant and necessary updates with you and to analyze what bank products and services may be best fit for your needs. So Delaware-based Artisans Bank said it was notified by the incident by Marquee in October, discovered the names and social security numbers of 32,344 people were leaked as part of that cyber attack. I don't see the Vera number on here. We couldn't find it. I don't think we found it. So, but all in all, there's an estimate here that this could be anywhere between 788,000 and 1.35 million victims there as well. So a lot to mitigate with this one. If you're in the banking world, you've got to reset passwords. You've got to rehash debit cards. I would look at pending checks. I would have more eyes on these accounts that were compromised. Obviously, if you're a bank with 1 million accounts, 32,000 require that attention. That's a task force type of mode that I would operate under with some of your tech partners, also some of your fraud team and security team. It'd be something I'd pay attention to. I'd probably tighten our UEBA behavior analytics work there as well, and kind of just have a tighter control over all of it. Right? I'd reset a lot of keys. All of that would be part of the work you would be doing, or you've already done following this breach. I mean, likely a lot of this work's been done by the victims, by the victim banks, but it's something that if you haven't done it yet, you should. All right, Korean Air falling victim through the Oracle e-business suite campaign, now saying 30,000 employer records were compromised. And again, the long tail of the Oracle EBS intrusion continues, now hitting the Korean flagship carrier. So you're looking at overprivileged service accounts, report jobs, but this was employee information. So something they're going to have to pay a lot of attention to there is defending their employee information and protecting it from any sort of payroll fraud, any sort of potential international fraud that could be perpetrated using flight attendants who are really easy folks to essentially do fraud because they travel so often, and it becomes much easier. All right, we're moving to this story here from Coinbase and the insider threat. A Coinbase support agent has been arrested. The insider enabled social engineering remains a top fraud vector here. So this one coming out of India. The arrest occurred in Hyderabad, the capital of India's Telangana state, a major tech center in the country. The Coinbase customer service agent was arrested for helping attackers steal sensitive customer information from the company database. The company did announce the rogue customer support agents. We talked about this back in May of this year. Now an agent has been arrested for this. And again, outsourcing all of that stuff, I get it. We've got to navigate budgets. We've got to navigate all of these different tools that we've got in our environments. But this again goes to the risks externally are cheap labor now in the world of online. 15 years ago, you could hire someone in the Philippines and pay them dirt cheap, and they probably wouldn't know any better. Social media has changed it. Social media has changed it to the fact that people know, applications have changed it. Job hiring, people look for work in different countries. They see what those salary ranges are. So they feel like they do the same amount of work for less money. And as such, they're more. I'm not saying we should pay them the same. That's not the argument here. I'm just saying you have to understand that mindset, because if you can't understand the mindset, you don't understand the insider threat aspect and how real it is to really manipulate people who aren't trying to do evil. They're not trying to hurt the business, but they do want to make a bit more money. They do want to put more money in their pocket, and they may be like, well, shouldn't be a big deal. The company won't even feel it. It's only a few accounts, but they don't understand the full scope of it. That has to be part of our 2026 training, our security training, our insider risk training. This is the kind of stuff we have to reinforce. And we have to allow employees, if approached, to be able to report this so that we can investigate, so we can identify and work with our law enforcement partners to put a stop to the folks trying to, and the cyber criminal groups going after our insiders. That's going to be extremely critical going into that. Let's move to some more good news here. A Lithuanian national has been arrested as the operator of the KMS malware, with over 2.8 million systems that have been infected. The malware delivery lanes in SMBs and home office machines was later used as pivots. For this one, the 29-year-old man was extradited from Georgia, the country of Georgia, to South Korea, following a related request under Interpol coordination. According to Korean National Police, the suspect used KMS Auto to lure victims into downloading a malicious executable, scan the clipboard for crypto addresses, and replace them with one controls by the attacker known as Clipper malware. You want to block PUP and activator categories of the web proxy application. The web proxy application allow listing and hunt for common KMS Auto file and registry artifacts if you feel like you've been a victim or you're trying to dig it out of your environment. Again, the Korean police really sharing a lot of information there, but it's just showing you the long arm of the law and the collaboration on cybercrime really starting to pick up. A Lithuanian arrested in the country of Georgia, extradited to Korea. An InfoStealer being delivered via the EmEditor rises a supply chain attack. The signed update channel for a popular text editor was abused to deliver an InfoStealer. Dev and SecOp boxes are extremely juicy for this one. Editors often sit next to the Git, Cloud CLIs, and secret that require code signing, validation, and reputation checks in EDR. You should be locked down. Update mechanisms via allow list URLs, run secret scanning, and rotate cloud API tokens on developer systems involved if this was the case. We'll move to China, where Mustang Panda has been using a kernel mode rootkit as part of its deployment and cyber strategy. The kernel drivers dodge user mode EDR and persist quietly. Deliver remains classic spear phishing or even strategic web compromise against some sort of policy, government, or NGO targets. You should be enforcing driver signing policies, EDR tuned for EDR tampering, and unusual driver loads. You should monitor DNS and eDNS and outbound to rare ASNs and isolate high-risk users from your environment there as well. And again, EDR evaders, you should also be looking at, an EDR replacement, which sits at the kernel level. There's a few of those out there in the market today. The attackers are exploiting Microsoft Studio connected Copilot Studio connected agents. The misconfigured or over trusted agent connectors can expose data or even let attackers do prompt inject agents to exfiltrate SaaS content. You should treat each connector as prod, least privilege scopes, short-lived tokens, approval workflows for new agents, and egress logging for agent-initiated downloads and exports. That'll help you avoid becoming a victim of this one. All right, and finally, the French. The French love finding people for privacy stuff. I mean, they claim that they're for privacy, but are they really? The French state spies on its people more than I think any other in the world at this point. The French regulators fined signals continued enforcement around consent and retention and purpose limitation, especially where SaaS telemetry and marketing tags drift beyond what users expect. It's a 1.7 million euro fine to Next Publica, which part of this is for poor cybersecurity practices in the wake of their data breach. Next Publica's poor practices, they say, violated GDPR, and the security problems were known to the company before the breach. It didn't address them, and they settled on a 1.7 million euro fine. So just something to keep in mind as you if you operate in Europe, is the French will still go after the victim because you didn't adhere to GDPR, which I guess is in this case, I can't blame the regulators if you made it really easy for them. They don't say what it was in the security program that was inadequate. They're just saying the whole data security program was inadequate. So I don't know what that means, and I don't know how we get better from it. But that's the French for y'all. That's literally the French. All right, that's it for our show this morning. We'll be back tomorrow, 2025, wrapping it up. I've got a great article dropping the top 10 cybersecurity stories of 2025. Will be I'll probably do like a special episode on Friday around this. What we saw in 2025, what I don't like prediction episodes, but we'll definitely talk about those top 10 stories and what those what the trends of those 10 stories really mean for 2026. Maybe that's a better approach there. So connect with us, cyberhubpodcast.com, or your favorite social media platform, as well as your favorite podcast listening platform there. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day. And most importantly, y'all stay cyber safe.
We love feedback, so make sure to connect with us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform.